Hey guys and girls, so it's a storm day in PEI, so it's a good day to swap the neck pickup out of this hybrid Strat. So if you watched the last video, these are both Toneriders. This is a hot classic, and this one, the Strat neck, is a pure vintage. And the difference is like 9K or a little hotter, a little over 9K, and this one's only 5.9, which, you know, in itself is fine, and there's nothing wrong with the Tonerider pickups. They're fantastic, but I just find that the neck, the way I like to set my amp, so I set my amp at shows for my pedal board, obviously, which I don't have with me right now, but most of the songs that we play, country, rock and roll, that kind of stuff, excuse me, are all on the bridge pickup. So I set my amp for it to sound good for me on the bridge. Now, if I set it on the neck pickup, the tone of this neck pickup would probably be fine. I could tweak the treble, I could tweak the mids on the amp and stuff, right? But when I play, like I said, 90% of the stuff we do is on the neck pickup and sometimes in the middle, or sorry, the bridge pickup and sometimes in the middle. So I usually set it for that. And then in a song, you know, I had a buddy of mine said, well, just adjust your amp when you want to flip over. I'm like, what? Like in a song, sometimes for the lead break, I'll switch over to the neck to get that fatter tone, or, you know, it's a bluesy song, so you're switching back and forth. And I'm not going to go change the settings on my amp. So my amp is just, I set it and I forget it. And then I let everything else kind of do the job, like the pedals and the switch, and that's it. And on this guitar, there's no tone control. It's just a volume and that's it, right? I would, if there was a tone, I'd just run a full blast anyway. So basically, this is how I set my amp for the neck pickup. This is where I like the neck pickup to sound. It might not sound great to you guys at home with just my cell phone mic, but this is how I like it, and it works well with my compressor and my drives. So it's basically just kind of clean, just on the verge of breakup. So I hope the low end is coming out through that. So you can hear there's some decent bass. I usually have the bass about 2 o'clock. I have the mids at about 1 o'clock. I have the treble at about 11 o'clock, 12 being straight up and down. And then the master and the gain I just set to give me, you know, the sound that I want. Right now my gain is pretty much at 12 o'clock and the master is barely over 2. So, you know, because it's not very loud in this room. So that's basically how I set it. And that gives me this kind of spanky sound just right from the amp. So whether I'm on the higher notes, like, or the lower notes, you can hear all the articulation between the strings, right? So my issue is when I switch to the neck pickup is where it gets muddy. Hear that? Individual notes aren't too bad. Right, that stuff is passable, but when you get into the lower end stuff, it's very muddy. Anyway, and then if I add gain, so I'm just going to crank this gain up to about 3, and I'll lower the master a bit. So if I add some gain to the neck pickup, it gets muddier. It sounds like I have a fuzz pedal on almost. Yeah, very muddy. Don't like it. So, like I said in the last video, I'm hoping that this GFS KPS 22, so it's a KPS 22 by GFS, and this is a 1960s overwound premium pickup. So these are wound at 9.4K. So it should give the bridge pickup a little more competition, right? And maybe I can just, you know, pull it away from the strings and still get enough gain, like to smooth out the articulation and the notes in the low end. Because that sounds terrible. So yeah, anyway, so I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to make the swap, and then I'll come back and I'll play some similar stuff. So if I go to the bridge pickup with that drive on, see it cleans right up. You still get the fuzz, but it's still articulate. See the difference? You get that stratty fat tone, you just lose the definition of the notes. So I don't know, maybe it's just, again, maybe it's just my playing, but we're gonna see if we can fix that. So I'll be right back and we'll test that again. See ya. All right, try to control as many variables as I can. So I'm using the same strings. I just used the old capo trick, unbolted the neck, flipped everything up. So the same strings will be used. And I just put the new pickup in. You can see it's the GFS one because this has the quick plug. Here is the original one, like the Tonerider. You know what? They're very similar as far as wire, wire type goes. Like the big, the cloth wires, whatever. It's the same thing with GFS. So, and I reverse wound them. So the lead pickup is going to the volume pot, and the ground is going to the switch, because, and I don't know if this is going to work, but with the Tonerider, if I ran black and black and white on the switch, they were out of phase. So I had to reverse wind this one, or not reverse wind, but reverse wire this one, so they were in phase. So I'm assuming that just because this is a Telecaster pickup, and because this is a Strat pickup, they have to be, one has to be reversed. So don't quote me on that being the case for every Strat neck and Tele bridge, but I don't know. It was for me, so I'm just going to start that way, and I may have to take it all apart and do it again, because I don't have a way of testing them, but I'm sure there is. So I'm going to put this back together and do a little demo. All right. So I just set it up exactly like the other one was. It was tilted. Let's see. Oh, and this black pickup cover from the Tonerider pickup fit on the GFS pickup, so I didn't have to use the white one that the GFS pickup came with. Although it probably wouldn't have looked terrible with a white pickup in there. But anyway, I have to take it apart again, because I switched the wires just like the last pickup was. But with this one, I guess it was reverse wound because this one is out of phase now. So in the middle position, it sounds like a wah pedal. So anyway, all right, so here's the amp again. I just turned the gain down, so we'll do the clean test first. So here's the bridge pickup. And now here's the new neck. Well, there is more articulation there for sure. Now, I didn't really notice this with the other pickup, but I should have checked. But on this one, the E string is right on the side of it. It's not, the E string should be like, ideally, should be in the middle of that pickup. And it's definitely not. The other ones aren't bad, right? But it must have been the same with the other one because this pickup cover was on, it was on the other pickup. So if this pickup cover fits, then the magnets must be in the same places. So anyway, so it's definitely a little bit more articulate. It's not like a wow, but I can hear the notes of the chord. I think the other one, the Tonerider pickup, sounded a little more stratty, but this one is more articulate. So you have to lose a little bit to gain a little bit, depending on which way you want to go. Let's try some drive again. So again, on the clean, or on the bridge, I mean. And on the neck. I don't know. You can let me know what you think, but I think there's an improvement. But that the overwound neck pickup, you kind of lose that stratty, bluesy tone, but you definitely gain some articulation. But I don't know what's better. But I didn't like it before, so I guess... Like, even double stops is just cleaner, like... More defined, I guess, not cleaner. So you can hear the chord now. Whereas before it was just kind of muffled. So, I don't know, I think it's better. Oh, and just a side note, this is particularly for 2-bike Mike. You know how, Mike, you say when you take the neck off guitars, you know, the budget guitars, you often have to drill the neck pocket holes because the screws are threading into the actual neck pocket as well as the heel. So it's hard to kind of pull the heel into the body of the guitar when it's threading into this big chunk of wood. Well, guess what? Fender guitars are the same. They don't drill them out either. I just drilled it out. I had noticed it when I built the Strat, like when I modded the Strat into a hybrid. I noticed it, but I didn't have my drill handy at the time, and I just kind of slapped it back together. But I just did it now. I just as I was changing this pickup, I just drilled those holes out, and you know what? It seats the neck so much better that the action and the tilt of the neck has actually changed, which I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So I'm gonna have to tweak my bridge now because I did that. So for any of you out there who are toying with modern guitars and stuff, I don't care if it's a Fender or budget guitar. A lot of times your neck mounting screws they're threading into the body. And by the time you reach the neck, it's hard to pull those two pieces of wood together when this is catching and the neck is, catching. So yeah, you want to ream those out, drill them out a bit. Just a slightly one step bigger than whatever screws in there, right? Pretty balanced. So you hear the notes for that blue stuff. I think it's good. Anyway, guys, thanks for tagging along. I'll answer any questions that you have or any comments are always appreciated. You guys take care. God bless. And until next time.